Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, class. Last time we tried to define what philosophy is, which we did from the two basic areas, what we call the popular definitions of philosophy. Well, we identified 3 areas from there, 3 sub-areas rather. Go? So that we have philosophy as philosophia. That is from the genesis, from the origin of the word philosophy. That is where we used etymology. And we said that is just philia and sophia, the pursuit of knowledge, going after knowledge or wisdom. And then we said we also have philosophy as a worldview. Philosophy as a worldview being what you normally do as an individual. Go, your attitude to life, your response, your voice, and whatever has to do with you that makes you to have that character of yourself, that uniqueness that each of us have. What we normally call in psychology the individual differences. Go, and then we now went further to discuss philosophy as a reflective activity. Saying that philosophy as a reflective activity is simply looking at you as a thinking being, as a rational human being, being superior to other lower animals. The way you react, the way you solve your problems is unique. You say you are reflecting. You do reflect to solve your problems. That is that. Then we now went further to define what philosophy is with respect to some other philosophers. That is the technical definition of philosophy. That is the second area. Where we talked about one given by Reid, I think, talking about digging up your past assumptions, your past beliefs, your past judgments that you made in all space of your life. So you asking those questions again, they say you are already engaging in philosophy. Because the minute you are asking such questions, you are already rethinking. You're asking yourself a fundamental question that is actually going to change your life. Such questions as, like, what is the purpose of life? Why are we here in the first place? Those are fundamental questions of life. And then we went further to talk about, I think, did I give you the one given by McIntyre? Yes, very good. McIntyre gave us a kind of a descriptive definition of philosophy as well, telling us what philosophy is with regards to having its own unique idioms, what we call the register. And I was asking you the questions of whether you have heard of metaphysics or epistemology or axiology elsewhere, rather than philosophy in other fields of knowledge, or any subject or course. They might refer to them as something, but not exactly the way it is. And philosophy has its own standards of how it judges its own fields, or it judges its own judgments, how people actually forward arguments. And I told you that mostly what philosophy employs there is simply looking at logic. Logic is what actually helps us to make sound conclusions or to make sound arguments, such that there is a kind of a connection between our premises and our conclusion, or our explanations and what we have come to conclude with. So that is that. So today, like I said, finally I gave you, I think, the definition by myself. Cool? Which I said is talking about philosophy as the art of making critical clarifications and reading between the lines, in order to illuminate or cast light into the darkness of ignorance, so as to come up with rational answers to the questions of reality, knowledge, and values. I think that is where exactly I stopped. I told you, yes, there is a whole lot of things to discuss here as well. But I don't think I'm going to delve so deep into it, because that definition sometimes can take us up to an hour. However, let me just quickly move to the tail end of it, because that is where will take us to what we are doing today. In the beginning, you understand that the definition, when it's still talking about the art of making critical clarifications, is one of the brands of philosophy. This clarification that we are making is what we call analytic philosophy. That critical clarifications you make is not just an ordinary clarification you are making to someone. You are making him to ask some fundamental questions in his life. And as such, if you are clarifying, you are going to go so deep into some questions that go so deep into his or her own life. You understand? So when we say talking about reading between the lines, on the other hand, it's just simply looking at the way we apply logic. When you are reading between the lines, you are applying logic here. Because in philosophy, like I said in the beginning, logic is a tool. We'll come to see that people think it to be a branch of philosophy, but it's not a branch of philosophy, please. Philosophy is a tool of doing philosophy. It's a tool of doing philosophy, not a branch of philosophy. I mean, logic. Yes. So, we look at it from that dimension. So, this is that reading between the lines. When you are looking at how someone is arguing, this issue of when someone is bringing you something, you just simply accept. You don't allow people to just brainwash you. So, that not being allowed to be brainwashed by someone, just simply receiving information from someone without actually being sure of what it is that he's saying. And like I explained the other time, I don't know whether it is in this class or in another, that usually, even in the Quran, we are told that we shouldn't accept when people come to us with a story. Go? That is, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu an tusibu qawman bijahalati, that if someone just comes to give you a story, don't just simply accept it. First of all, be sure to affirm, to confirm what he or she is saying is true before you act on it. Because at the end of the day, you might end up doing harm to someone, which will end up being regretted. And as such, so you don't just simply conclude. That is just the essence of this Quranic verse. You shouldn't just conclude by someone just giving you first-hand information without confirming. And this is exactly what philosophy is doing too. When we're talking about this reading between the lines, don't just allow someone to just say this and you just accept it like that. No. Ensure to confirm that kind of information before you act on it. Okay? That is talking about reading between the lines. Now, talking about in order to illuminate or cast light. Knowledge generally is light, as we all know. Cool? Knowledge is light. And ignorance, on the other hand, is a question of darkness. Because it's just like a beacon that is shining your way through life. That is knowledge. And it's the reason why when we're talking about wisdom, they say wisdom is a universal virtue. Universal in that in all societies, across all times, whoever you find out that is knowledgeable in that particular society is respected. Even if they are the most stupid of all people, the best of them in knowledge, in whatever it is that they are doing, will kind of be the one to shine the way for them. Go? So that is why we look at it in this dimension too. That is a question of, and that is what philosophy does, of course. Philosophy is just trying to make you understand your life. And also be a successful individual and most importantly, a functional human being in your society. That is why, like I told you, I asked you the other time, we found out that why is it that they say you must do philosophy in education, you must do philosophy in general courses, philosophy as a general course, philosophy as when you are studying as an educationist. Definitely there is something to it. And I said in the beginning that you found out that all forms of knowledge started with this philosophy. So, it's just a question of how they later metamorphose into different fields. But when knowledge started, when Western education started from the works of Plato, that is the very first person to start formal education school in the world. The Academy of Plato, I think you are aware of that. That is 300 years before the coming of Christ. That time, that was the first formal institution we had from one of the philosophers. And when he was writing his works, there's no such thing as physics, chemistry, and what have you. We only have natural philosophy and moral philosophy on the other hand. Natural philosophy having to do with the sciences, while moral having to do with politics, ethics, and whatever you think about has to do with values and cultures. Okay? So, that is that. And then finally, we made mention of so as to come up with rational answers to the questions of reality, knowledge, and values. We use the word rational answers. When you say an answer is rational, what does that mean?
It rhymes with sense.
Yeah, but it is backed up by reason. Reason in quote. And logic is the science of valid reasoning. That is why they say valid reasoning. Go. So, if you are given answers to the questions of this reality, what questions are we asking in reality here? What questions are we asking in reality? And that reality simply means metaphysics here. At the same time, talking about knowledge. And there's another branch of philosophy which is epistemology. And finally, we have values, which is another giant branch of philosophy called axiology. So that is why I said that definition will just take us to the major branches of philosophy, which is reality, metaphysics, epistemology, knowledge, and axiology, which is values. Which is values. So, these three branches of philosophy are basically what we are discussing. They are somewhat called the subject matter of philosophy. They form part of the subject matter of philosophy, meaning that whatever you want to see us discussing will not go beyond these three areas. However, there are some other things that come up, but they still end up discussing these three major areas. That is the schools of philosophical thought. In philosophy, yes, we don't get away from those schools of philosophical thought, what we are actually doing in the classroom here as professionals. However, philosophy in general is somewhat subsumed under these three major areas. That was why that definition, like I told you, is just like a descriptive definition of philosophy as well. And most especially what we do in the classroom as philosophers. What we do in the classroom as philosophers. So now, let us pick them one by one. What is metaphysics? What do you think metaphysics should be? Yes, I've already given a keyword there. It's talking about reality. Go? I said the questions about reality that you are asking is under metaphysics. So how can you just say something as an advanced student that can at least modify things and just own it up? Yes, you want to speak?
From the reality.
Whatever you see is what will be. Is what we believe. Okay, you have tried. Thank you. Thank you.
This is I try to look at it that what is real exists and what does not exist is not real.
What is real exists. What does not exist is not real. Okay, that's a way of looking at it. You've tried. Yes, ma.
So I think it's what is seeing with optical eyes. You see something with
What you see with your optical eyes or physical,
physical.
the physical issues, things, go? That's what we think is a reality, it's real. However, now let me quickly make this metaphysics, that I said in the beginning, that this philosophy is a child of the Greek society. Child of the Greek society, meaning that, and by extension, that means that more than 90% of the words that will be said in philosophy will have their origin from the Greek language. That is for sure. So, this, just like the way we said philosophia in the beginning, philia and sophia, so also metaphysics is another branch of philosophy that comes from a Greek word. And a fusion of two Greek words rather. This is meta and physica. Meta and physica. In the Greek language, whenever you see the word meta, it simply means beyond or above. You understand? Beyond or above. And as such, this physica, on the other hand, is looking at the what we call the physical realm. The physical realm. Realm as in like this. REALM. Physical. So, this metaphysica is simply talking about beyond the physical realm. That is beyond what you can see, hear, feel, or touch. I don't know if I get it. So, which means what we are going to be discussing in this metaphysics has to do with such things that go beyond the physical realm. And as such, in the beginning you're talking about, we're discussing reality, of course, but that reality is not the one that is physical here. The reality that goes beyond what you can touch. We are trying to go above science here. Because science cannot actually prove the existence of some things. And such things that we are going to be discussing here are the concepts of spirits, angels, soul, and ultimately God. G-O-D, God. These are areas that we don't actually see. These are a reality, but we cannot actually prove them with science or using some observational techniques. Science has actually proven inadequate here. And yet we do know that these are realities that do exist. They are realities that do exist. However, we cannot prove them with science. We only use reason. We can only use our reasoning abilities as human beings. And most especially when you're talking about the concept of God, the concept G-O-D, God. It's an area that people don't actually want to answer. And most especially when you're talking about the realists. There are some people that call the realists who oppose the idea of the existence of anything that you cannot see, or anything that you cannot touch, feel, or hear, as that does not exist. Those are the beginning I was talking about that which is real does exist, but that which is not real does not exist. So what is real here is what you can touch with the optical eye, like she was talking about. What you can see with the optical eye. And you can touch it as well. There are some things, however, that you cannot see with your optical eye, but you feel them. Like smell. Go? Pain. Hunger rather. Go? Those are emotive issues. Those are emotive issues that we can talk later in another area when we go deep into axiology, but I don't normally go there until we meet at master's level. So when you talk about these realities, like the issue of the concept of the mind, just even science has been trying to see how it can get what your mind is thinking. We all know that as individuals we have some thoughts, but are you thinking what is in your mind? That is why we even have a new area of this we call the philosophy of the mind. Philosophy of the mind. That is an area of its own that is so large, and people have discussed, written volumes of books just to see how they can get to understand how you think. Psychology has tried so bad, or let me say so hard, to see how it can identify or how it can actually predict we as human beings. When you see someone looking like this, he's going to behave in this way. They have ways of different types of bodies of individuals. So that when someone is having this shape of body, he's likely to act in this area or respond in this dimension. When something happens, when someone looks like this, he's going to be energetic. You see a lot of descriptions. They just want to see how they can predict man. However, we don't know that man is beyond that.
Assumption.
Man is just too complex. However, it's important to understand how he operates. As of course, we being one of the people, one of the species, or be members of the species of human beings, unless we do know how we think. So maybe we can use what we do, or what we feel, or how we react to maybe predict what someone can do or do otherwise. By saying that this issue of putting yourself in someone's shoe, you can at least feel, even if you want to ignore, but you definitely feel that this is likely what is going to happen if what is happening to this individual happens to me. Or if something happens to me, how he reacted, am I going to react the same? It's a question of you using your own techniques as a human being to also predict your fellow human beings. Most especially they say, do unto others what you would like others do unto you. As simple as it is. So this area of metaphysics, we ask such questions. We ask such questions like, what is man? Man, as we know that man by his nature is what we call a dual being. A dual being in that in man there exists the soul as well as body. He has body, but whenever they say he is dead, you notice that he's not moving. And that soul that is inside, what happens to the soul? Such questions are so fundamental. What happens to the human soul? A lot of philosophers have tried to see this issue of human soul because they believe that the human soul is indestructible and the human soul is immortal. The human soul does not die. It is only when it is vacating that body and transiting to another realm or another area or another place that we can think about it as leaving the body. So what happens to the soul? There is a question of what they call reincarnation. Reincarnation simply is talking about how when someone dies, that soul being, it just jumps and goes to another body to continue living on. It's not real. It might not be real. You don't really know actually whether it is real or not. this has been a heated debate for centuries. You understand? We are just so lucky that as the generation of the generation who are blessed with revealed knowledge. So we get to understand more than what our predecessors have understood before. Such philosophers didn't actually have these books that we have. They didn't have the Torah, nor did they have the Bible, or even the most sophisticated of them, that is the Quran. They didn't have any of such.
So, what I don't understand is, so now does religion allow you to explore? Because I'm sorry.
Enjoy. This is philosophy.
When just lesson we had with philosophy, I got entirely scared of philosophy. It's not something now. Because like you said, little knowledge is dangerous. I started looking at comparison between Christian crusaders and Islamic jihadists, and I was measuring their Abrahamic religions.
Abrahamic
Yeah,
religions.
so these are not things I should be thinking about now. So now they have told me that I will not go near philosophy because I will now start to question and look for reasons for things I don't want to seriously look for reasons, like certain concepts you mentioned, including the concept of God. So I don't want philosophy because of this.
However, you need philosophy. You need philosophy. Because philosophy, like I said initially, you didn't get me right. I told you in the beginning that someone was scared of me going into philosophy. And then she would call me and she was like, don't go to this area, don't live there. But later, that same individual that I'm talking to you about, when she saw how I flourished, how I survived and thrived in philosophy, she came back and was asking me some question that, because she did philosophy before me, and she was with a British philosopher. She learned under a British philosopher, someone called B.C. Hurst, one of the famous philosophers in this BUK. He came from Britain and he was the one that was teaching them philosophy. So there was some question that, while as students of philosophy, when he asked them, they shy away from such questions. They try to think, they all just frown their faces that, don't just go there. You understand? Because you open the Quran, just go to some areas, and say, why did God do this? That was a bit kind of some injustice. How should God do this? You understand? I need not understand that in Quran, you don't read Quran like that. Quran is, like I was saying, is the most sophisticated of them. I just made mention of that. In Quran, you find out that if God said this, in this verse or in this chapter, the answer will be maybe the last chapter of the Quran, or somewhere so deep. He's aware that he has asked that question, and he doesn't answer it somewhere. So only the Hafiz of the Quran can only give that special kind of answers. So that was whenever she asked that question, I'll tell her about, did he read so place? So they're like, I wish you were there when this person was there. I would have defeated this philosopher with you. You understand? So he didn't have, because it was just like someone who would just open open an area and read and conclude based on that particular area. We don't do that with Quran. You understand? So the thing is, if you read philosophy, like I was saying in the beginning, after going through philosophy, or let me say studying philosophy proper, I came to realize that even myself, I've, let me say, read the Quran over, that is from A to Z, for more than like 17 times. But I have never understood it better until the day I finished my first master's in philosophy. The year I finished master's in philosophy, and I was like reading Quran now. One of the I normally used to just graduate it every fasting period. I make sure that I read it from A to Z. within that time. You know that is the time of the Quran. So if I do that, as I'm reading, I'll be seeing something that, how come I've never thought it in this dimension before? I'll just jot it. And I'll continue. And then I was already writing I was writing my thesis then. So I'll bring those issues in my thesis. And that was why when I continued in my PhD, I had a way of bringing that area again in my PhD. And that was what made me to be who I am today. I've gone to places with this philosophy, for your information. You understand? So there's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to be scared of. The only thing I believe is that philosophy will shine the light for you. And that was why in my definition I use that word, casting light into the darkness of ignorance. Because you not be like the others. That is just for sure. If you really understand philosophy very well. But let us roll now.
I think that why she might be saying she doesn't want to delve into it, because she doesn't want to make some discoveries that will question the fundamental beliefs maybe of her faith, and she doesn't want to, she wants to take what she knows. She doesn't want to question the background, the pillars. So she rather just stay with the normal than digging deep and making discoveries that may make her to become very uncomfortable. Am I speaking your mind?
To a certain degree, yes.
There's something they call tafakur and tadabbur, meaning reflecting.
Reflection.
And as far as you've taught us, I think philosophy as something that can help somebody learning tawhid. You want to really know Allah.
To reflect.
Ask some questions. Those questions are scary, but then you have to answer those questions to really know who God is.
Yes, of
So,
course.
I think philosophy is not something to be scared of. It's just understanding you, learning about your being differently, knowing who is God.
Now, thank you. You have said it too. You've tried, and I like the way you are putting it. That issue of God challenging you. That أَفَلَا تَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. That we don't ponder over this Quran. That is reflects. God is challenging you to think here. Come and challenge it. That's why he said, at a point in time, he said, if the whole of mankind, together with the jinns, he challenged the whole of humanity and jinns, the people on the other side, all of them will come up together and say they would want to produce another replica of this Quran. He said they will never be able to do it. God here is speaking that if they want to bring a similar version of the Quran, they will never bring it. Why? Because he knows what he has brought for us. And they was asking that when the Prophet Muhammad, that they should bring miracles. So prophet did this miracle, another prophet did this, other one did that. He said, you to bring another miracle for us. God answered for him, saying that you don't need any other miracle than what I'm already giving you now. This same Quran is the only miracle that you have, and this miracle will take you to nowhere you can ever imagine. That is God challenging someone, challenging the whole of humanity. That was why I was telling you when we were talking about issues of reincarnation. Yes, those philosophers didn't have this privileged knowledge that we have now. They didn't have, like I was saying, they didn't have the Torah of Moses. No, they did have the Bible of Jesus. I know that they have the Quran of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. None of them, they didn't have any of such. So they were just kind of trying to make ends meet. But there are a lot of places whereby God in the Quran is telling us that أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. That do you really think that we created you on this earth and you're not coming back to us? Think, reflect. Meaning that definitely when you come and you are here, you are going to die and go back to him. Oh, all of us will go back and face his judgment. Oh, so it is like that. You don't just simply say, I don't want to ask this because it will change my belief. No. If you really understand philosophy, it will make you to know your religion more. It will make you to hold on to your religion tight. That definitely I'm doing the right thing. I'm not worshiping some idols. Go? I'm serving a living God. I'm serving the Alpha. Go? The only difference between the God that we're talking about in Islam and Christianity is that Jehovah, the Jehovah, not Jesus. Mark you. In Islam, Jesus is also acknowledged, but not as God, but as one of the mightiest of all the prophets. Yes, he's one of the best 5 that God mentioned. But we don't see him as someone to worship. That is just the difference between Christianity and Islam. But the same Jehovah is the same Allah that we're talking about. There are some even Christians in some other parts of the world that still refer to Jehovah as Allah too. I could recall there was even a church that were using Allah as Jehovah. Yes, some couple of years ago. So it's not going to touch your deen in any way, but rather make you to understand it more. Because it is telling you not to just be there. There's something we call the prosaic mentality. Now that you have touched me so much. This prosaic, the word prosaic, philosophy is against the word prosaic mentality. A prosaic mentality is someone who wakes up in the morning or who wakes up in the family, find that everyone is following this way, and say, everyone is going, we're not just continue to follow. You'll be wondering, why is everyone going that way? Philosophy would say that no, don't just follow with the tide, don't just flow with the tide. Reflect, look, and know if are they really following? Is there any hole there? So that at the end of the day, I don't want to fall inside a deep pit that I don't want to. I can't get myself out. Philosophy says that you should reflect over what you are doing. That is what we're talking about. That digging up. From the definition of read. Your assumptions. Your beliefs. And at the same time, your practices. What you are doing. If you don't reflect over time to time, you just be living like that. You just be living like the normal animals do. Just like the way God used to refer to them in the Quran that lahum qulubun la yafqahuna biha wa lahum a'yunun la yasma'una biha. Lahum a'yunun la yubsiruna biha wa lahum adhan la yasma'una biha. Those are the people that they have eyes but they cannot see. They still have ears, but they can't hear with such ears.
Not deformity.
And they have, it's not a deformity, and they have the heart, but they cannot actually reflect with such hearts. He said, Kai, those are just like, Ulaikal an'am. Adalla sabila. He said, Kai, those are just like the what do you call it? You know, there's a difference between an arm and normal animals. An arm, when God says the word an arm, he says that is domestic animals. Those are just like domestic animals. Those are that we find in our homes. You know, they are not as smart as bush animals or wild animals. Being a domestic animal is just so easy to, you understand, so submissive, and always allow you to do as you wish. If you kill one of the people, one of the wild animals, and they realize that you are a killer, Whenever they see you, they will never allow you to come close to them. They will never allow you to come close to them. But a domestic animal, in front of them, you just can't just go and slaughter, go and finish with your food, meal. Tomorrow they'll still be looking at you. It's only like what to do. So, just like, let me give you an example now. I made a mistake of getting one of the wild cats. Someone had a way of catching a wild cat. I was like, rats are disturbing me in my house. So please, I just need a cat. I don't care even if it means I'm going to buy. I've been asking people to give me a cat, but they're not ready to give me a cat. So the way I was complaining so bitterly, people said, behind this hammam, that hammam.
247.
Yes. That there are some cats there. But those are wild cats. So one of the boys there happened, I gave him some money to just go and see how he can just get me one. Before the following 2 or 3 days, he told me that he has already caught one. And it is inside a pack, not sack. A kind of packet like this. A carton. So I brought it. I kept it, I opened it in my room. Immediately when I opened that carton, it just quickly found a place to hide. Before you know it, it entered into my toilet. And my house is that type that has this, I don't know, is it jacuzzi you call it, or which one? The normal bathtub, the big bathtub. I know they normally live apart a small hole that you can take care of your plumbing activities. They quickly entered that place. Since the time it entered, I could not bring that card out. One, if I have to destroy the bathtub. Going to already cemented. I can only just go there, bring food and just drop. Look, when you're finished, you come and eat. I'll leave. Later, I opened the because it was like an extension room. Nobody's living there. So I opened the door of the room, such that if it wants to come out, it can come out and just relax. It comes out when there is sun and especially that cold weather. You come and just kind of enjoy the heat of the sun. But as soon as it feels someone opening the other door to come to that side, to quickly run back and enter that place. So I had a way of seeing how I could just close the room from another dimension to close the door when it is outside. So that it can come back and stay inside the room with everyone. And at least get used to people. That was up to a month back. In that kind of situation, I succeeded. And I kind of trapped it outside with living within the house, the visibility of the house, not inside that room. I said, I want to close that room happen. And I'm afraid I don't want to kill it. That is starve it so that God is not going to take it easy on you. He can take the cat and kill it like that. I starved it of hunger. I was not like, this thing, how can I just open the door of my house for this thing to just leave? But like, because to never allow you to even stay see face to face with it. It's a cat, come on. Before you know it, I closed that area. It entered the house. At a point in time, my kids were distributed while it is inside within that house, and it entered inside the house. And then before you know it entered another toilet again. And it still entered that place. Up till now, even yesterday afternoon, I had it crying. You only just go and get some cotton again with some sand. Keep for it, whatever you want to shit, you shit there. So that at all time, they will go and change the sand. Then here is your food. When it is night, it will come out and do those enjoy the house when everyone is sleeping. But as soon as someone wakes up, you quickly run back and enter inside that place. Yeah? So that is one thing about wild animals. This is the cat that we know that normally stays with people around. But the cat, because it is wild, it doesn't actually allow you to come close to it. So God is describing people of that kind of attitude. Simply why? Because here God is telling you that we should reflect. God is challenging you to even criticize the Quran. Go and criticize it. Go and see where you can find any mistakes or flaws there. Go. He asked, he said we should go and find flaws. A lot of people are looking for ways they can destroy the Quran, but because at a point in time he made a promise. Go. He said, "Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafizun." We are the ones that brought this Quran. And definitely we are the ones to guard it. So whatever you do, you will still bring someone to replicate it. And what have you been saying? You see, they have brought the Israeli Quran. They have brought this version of the Quran. So many of them, if you know it, someone will say, even if you make a mistake of changing this Kisra, someone will say, someone has been changed here. Well, yes. That is it. So what I am trying to say here is that you don't just allow yourself to just be told this or told that. Just to reflect. Even God is telling, even in the religion, He's challenging you to think. So I was now like, me that I'm trying to do philosophy and God is challenging me to think here now. So why can't I just continue to think? Continue to ask questions. However, mark you, it's not everyone that is allowing you to ask these questions, even in Islam. There are some questions, yes, of course, that we can't just continue to ask. Because of the mighty, of the kind of the way God has programmed some things. It's just like a way of respect. So, we do know that if God says that He is the Alpha and He is the Omega, He says, okay, now what if everyone dies now? What is going to happen? Or before the coming of the world, how was God living? That is none of your business. So, that question is not going to be beneficial to you. It's not going to add anything to you. Yes, He said that definitely everyone or everything that lives here is going to perish. Go. He said, "Kullu man alayha fan." Everything that is going to die is going to perish, except the what? Except the face of your Lord. Go. It is the only thing that is not going to be destroyed. But at the point in time when at end time, he said that everyone is going to die. When that person blows the trumpet, go. And we all know that this is not going to happen until Jesus comes back for the second time. You know He's going to come back for the second time. I know the Christians also are aware of that. Go? Yes, He's coming back. And we're also aware of that. Yes. Now, we have pastors. We have pastor here. Yes, very good. I will really enjoy you around. He is coming back, and when he comes back, he's going to take care of the Antichrist for us. So, people have been saying that this Antichrist is already around. So, but there are people that are really waiting for him and preparing the ground for him. Because when he comes, that Antichrist is going to cause a lot of mayhem on earth. Just like the way he's been described in the Bible, so was he also described in the Quran. So, we call him the Masih Dajjal. So, that one-eyed monster who's going to come and just claim that he is Lord. And God is going to give him power to just walk like the way God walks. I mean, having the power to kill or to allow to raise the dead as well. Just like the way Prophet Isa was given such the same power. So, Jesus was given the same power to raise the dead. To rise the dead from from graveyards. And whatever form of ailment that you have, you will simply just take it away from you. So when the child is given that power, the same person that God has given the same power will come back and finish him and overcome him. and establish what monotheism, that is the oneness of God, after which everyone is going to find his way. Oh, yes. Everyone is going to find his way, of course. So, let us continue. Like I said,
in line with what he said,
yes, talk.
Yes, I believe it is an issue of debate concerning what she said, because there is this book that was written in the 11th century by Imam Ghazali, the Hafatul Falasifa, Incoherence of Philosophy, that Ibn Khaldun also come in the counterbook with Hafatul Khafat, the inconsistent.
That's not even a Khaldun, it's even a Rushd.
Ibn Rushd, sorry. So if Imam Ghazali could go to the extent of renouncing his faith for almost 3 days and coming up with this philosophical book, I think what she's saying is also something to consider. He renounced Isaac for 3 days. Yes, so definitely.
Yes, but you want to talk to?
Yeah, let me see.
Okay, say you want before I respond to it.
What I really want to say is, you see, the edge to my belief and my little research and study.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's like a laboratory for God to test his attribute. And God tests his attribute through what he has created. Man, the trees, animal, and what's all that exists on earth. So if you look into it critically now, I discover that if you say I am not a liar, until I found you in an encounter with a lie to tell, and you refuse to tell that lie, I will not prove you not to be a liar. So from what you are saying, that you are not supposed to study philosophy, with the fact that you are afraid that you are going to dig deep to a knowledge that will take you out of your faith. What I debunk with that, with reason that the knowledge that you are going to have will help you to stand in a position to know if really you are serving your God or following your faith or not.
That's the right one.
You know, like you said, it's really something to consider. Now, let me talk about the Hafatul Falasifa now. It might interest you to know that in my PhD, I took Imam Ghazali. So I know more than you can think about Imam Ghazali. And in fact, I think part of what I have to teach here will be part of some Imam Ghazali. Imam Ghazali, when he wrote the Tahfatul Falasifa, the incoherence of the philosophers, he forwarded a lot of arguments about Western philosophy. And in fact, that, you know that he was even given the title, the executioner of Western philosophy. Because after that Tahfatul Falasifa, nobody wanted to study philosophy again in the whole of the East that time. People were burning philosophy books. You understand? I think you are aware of what happened then.
Yes.
And that was why he was given the title, the Mujaddid, and at the same time, the executioner of Western philosophy. And people came to do a counter, that is the incoherence of the incoherence, that is the Hafut, but by Ibn Rushd, which still did not see the light of the day like it's all Tahfatul Falasifa. But mark you, of all what Imam Ghazali did, Imam Ghazali used, because before he wrote the Tahfatul Falasifa, he wrote Maqasid al-Falasifa. Go? That's Maqasid al-Falasifa, the aim of the philosophers. That was the first book he wrote, trying to understand how philosophy was going on. Go? And later on, that was why he wrote that one. Whether we like it or not, yes, Ghazali used philosophy as a tool to destroy philosophy. Yet, Imam Ghazali still made use of philosophy to be what he is today. First of all, he learned from philosophy. Go? And at the same time, you learned how to use logic. Because you use logic to destroy philosophy. But really, was it destroyed?
No, I don't believe in the destruction of philosophy.
He only tried to destroy it at that time. He kind of, let me say, decampaigned it. Like, I even in one of my papers,
Because it was on the high rise.
I wrote a paper talking about a nexus, an exploration of the nexus between Islamic and Western philosophies of education. Inside that paper, in the abstract, I wrote that one of the reasons why we have very few philosophers is that philosophy dares to question when questioning is prohibited. Oh? Philosophy dares to question when questioning is prohibited. And that was the reason why in the 16th century, when we're talking about the rise of reason, the rise of reason was the rise of philosophy. Well, in the age of Enlightenment, when Immanuel Kant came, they had a motto called what? Dare to know. You should just go and seek for knowledge. Oh? And currently now, even in Islam and Christianity, we are told, most especially in Islam, like I said, mostly what people need to understand that Islam is a sequel to Christianity, a continuation. Well, knowing that what happened at that age of Enlightenment has happened. That is what even the Quran now, the first verse that said was what? Iqra. Read. Meaning what? Dare to know. Oh? Yes. Who says they should go and seek for knowledge? Because God knows that no matter how you go and seek for the truth, definitely you will find Him there. Oh? Yes. Because He's the ultimate truth. There's no way you can think about anything. That was why at a point in time I said, look, if you're looking for any truth, first of all, look into yourself. If you really want to know that I exist. Oh? That is why, sorry, we are discussing this thing. We are in the zone of metaphysics. So we are in the zone, so we are here to enjoy. When God said that, I wrote a whole chapter in my book that I'm yet to publish. I wrote a whole chapter about just man. I call him man as an aesthetic creation of God. And I want to explore what the intricacies that God has created in man. That is why even the AIs that we have now, we're in AI technology now, the artificial intelligence. The AI has been designed to be just like man. Yet the AI is still what? Yet to be like man. The AI could just simply look so intelligent and maybe so smart, asking maybe kind of giving quick answers. But yet, the AI cannot ever be like man. Yes. They just try to see how they can clone you. They even used to clone people now. This issue of cloning. That is all they can do. And God is challenging you that if you really want to create something, create something out of nothing. Don't just say you want to create something from what He has already created. Bring something that is new from what He has already created. That was why I said, if you really are looking for the truth, and if you are looking for the ultimate reality, look at yourself. Because He knows what He has already put in you. And most especially, I used to argue this, even though we had a lot of imams who have to come and tell people that, look, philosopher, this you are thinking is somewhat related to this you are thinking. I said, look, I'm not going to change my mind. The fact that I was like giving this explanation about this boy, and this saying that when God was creating Adam, He said, وسويته ونفخت فيه من روحي فقعوا له ساجدين. He said that if I finish designing this Adam, I mold him to the way I want him to be molded. And I blow in him from my own soul. He said, ونفخت فيه من روحي فقعوا له ساجدين. all of you, the other angels and the jinn, that is Satan that was there, he was a jinn, right? Who?
Yeah.
Satan is a jinn. It's not an angel. All of you should bow down to him. Why was that happening? God gave man something from himself. That is that soul that we have. That was why at the point in time you understand that the difference between life and soul. Animals don't have a soul, mark you.
Yes, yes.
Animals don't have a soul, they only have life.
You have spirit.
We have the soul. We have a soul because our soul is unique and it's indestructible. Oh? And it's indestructible in that. Why is it indestructible? Because it came from him. And that was why I said, Alpha Hasibtu, another avatar, that you didn't really created and you're not coming back to us. And at another point it said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That we are definitely for God. We are from him. And definitely to him we are going back to. That is why they say when you die, the simple answer that we give now is your soul is going back to the source. Because it is indestructible, it cannot be destroyed. It's going back to where it's killed. Oh? It's going back to where it's killed. It's going back to the Lord. Because that's the reason why it is indestructible is why? Because it is some part of him. Oh? Because it is some part of him. That is why sometimes people will say that he lives in you, he lives in me. Go? 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 Something like that. I'm not here to sing what that girl was saying. Go? Something like that. Soul and spirit.
That's a mystery.
That's right. The spirit is a creature just like we human beings. And we call them the jinns. Go?
They say human beings have soul and have spirit.
No. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Human being has that soul. And that same soul, that is why even God was saying that, this is one thing about Quran. I'm sorry to be using Quran because I know Quran.
Yeah.
Even God knows that we are going to be asking this question. He said, what's another rule? He said, they'll be asking you about the soul. No Prophet Muhammad will be asking you about the soul. He said, full of rukumin amna rabbi. And you tell them that this soul that you're talking about is from the doing of my Lord. That only a few of you have been given that knowledge. There's definitely some people who have been given the knowledge. But a few, what's it? A few. Well, which means one of the reasons why I as a philosopher has been asking those questions. I've been asking those questions for more than 15 years now. But because I know that we have a soul. So I used to ask the question, where does the soul actually lie in the human body? At a point in time, it's going to leave our body. Someone will say it's in the head. Because when you cut off the head, you say that someone is going to die. Another will say it's in the hand. I think recently the answer I got was someone was saying that it's everywhere. It's everywhere in the body. So that is why he said if someone is being touched, he feels.
Somebody that says on the head is big because if your leg is big, what
about the hand? Have you never had someone who, when the hand is no longer there? So to say is, yes, we are right, why did you pass that? We are right, no one says,
Sorry, so the question she asked, is good. We are brainstorming and I really love this course. We love it. Yeah, it's helping me so much. Now what you said, from my own study and little research I've made.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah. They said the soul, from my understanding and what I've studied, maybe I'll have a better knowledge that will really place me. The soul is a house that incubates the spirit. Now let me explain. If you go down to sleep, sometimes you see yourself in another world, dreams, revelation, that is out of body experience, the soul. The spirit never leaves the body. Any day the spirit leaves, you are off. It goes back to the owner. That is all.
Knowledge. We can't preempt his research. I like the spirit and soul. Maybe I will go and do more research as well. You know, this is one area in metaphysics that we refer to as ontology now. Mind you, under metaphysics, we have ontology and cosmology and theology. There are three sub-branches of philosophy that we have. The three sub-branches of philosophy are saying that we have ont and logos. This logi, whenever you see the word logi simply means logos. And logos means study of the nature of something. Okay? Study of the nature of something. And this ontology is talking about ont and logos. And the logos on ont here simply mean being. Being, these beings, when we are studying the nature of beings, we have two things here that we study. Study the being as human being. We as human beings. Also, the other one, being, is the B with the capital B, the super being. That is God. So, under ontology here, we try to study the nature of human being, and this is what we have been doing here. It's nothing but digressing, please. We're not digressing. Like I said, we're already in the zone. So, this concept of the nature of being, when we want to understand we ourselves as human beings, someone is talking about spirit and soul now. I initially said we have a soul. And there is the issue of life. So it's now left for us to go and think. This is just going to help us to understand ourselves. To understand who we are and why even we are here. And this question that I listen at, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of life? Why do we exist? Excuse me. When you ask the question, who am I? What is man? Why am I here? What is the purpose of my being, by existing? You are asking such questions to study, to learn who you are. After all, God said that you should look in you. So, when you look deeply inside you, you definitely realize that someone is there. And when we ask the question, who is this being, this super being? We're asking the question, who is God? Who? How do we understand that this God exists? And most importantly, the atheists who say that whatever you cannot see, hear, feel, or touch does not exist. How do we prove to them that they are wrong? Oh, but sorry, do you have any atheists here? No. Sometimes they are so bold. Forget. I want to see if that is one. Whether I can added themselves.
Yes. Because he told me that they need to be their president, that they are hiding themselves because they feel insecure that they could be attacked and their opinions are not respected.
It's not a question of opinion, it's a question of blessing. reasons. People have said that I'm looking for those kind of people so that we can sit and really discuss, you know? Well, I wish I get to. There is even someone having the same name as I had that at a point in time. He came back from America and he was like, look, there is no God.
So if you want to get an atheist, just tell them, if you are atheist, contact me later. They would. But if you say who is an atheist, so if I'm an atheist, I would raise my hand. Seriously. No, seriously. But I'm not.
Do you think what should you get afraid of? Let us continue. That is just an area. However, what matters, like I normally say that, I don't know whether it was in this class, it was another. However, I said if you really want to understand the existence of God, like in the Quran, He has given us a lot of signs that we can use to appreciate Him. One of which is that He's asking you whether, when you are looking at whether you can bring down the rain from the skies. So He's the one that gives us rain. Rainmakers. How long does it last? And does it actually raise plants? No. It's not raise plants. Just give life. Those are biological things. That is just magic. Those rainmakers are just magic. Just like the way Moses sorted. The people that Moses actually fought, that's right. They only make your eye to look it as it is raining. It's actually raining. You understand? So that is just it. But we do still understand those people from what we're looking at theology. When we go into theology, that's the study of the nature of God. That is theos and logos. And that nature of that theology, we try to look at how the creation connects with the Creator. When we discuss the polytheistic religions as well as the monotheistic religions. But I don't think we have much time to go into that. So that's so deep. When we're looking at the cosmology, we're looking at the heavenly bodies. That is the earth. It is simply called cosmos and logos. Cosmos. The word cosmos was first coined by the first philosopher in the history of time, called Theos. He coined the word cosmos to denote the universe. Cosmos to denote what? The universe. So cosmology is simply talking about study of the nature of the universe. But in metaphysical cosmology, what we study here in metaphysical cosmology is that we look at the rationales. That is the source of control of the universe, source of creation. Studies like the Big Bang. What happened in the Big Bang? The Big Bang. You see, like this same Big Bang theory that we're talking about, God addressed it in the Quran, which people later came to realize that definitely there was that Big Bang. Is it the Big Bang theory now? But God has already discovered how He did it, how He made the Big Bang to happen in the Quran. So those are some things that we don't actually give answers to, unless, like I said, we are not privileged to live in the time whereby these scriptures are already here. God knew that we are going to ask a lot of questions. You know that we of this generation, we are the inquisitive type. And give as many answers as we can ever think of imagining. Before you even ask the question, He has already given you the answer. So that is why when we are looking at this theology or cosmology here, I said under cosmology, we look at who is the architect of the universe. Did this universe come just by accident, or was it created? When you ask such questions, you are trying to ask fundamental questions of reality. about of your very existence. Well, definitely, if we know that this house, as we can see it, or let me say this lecture theater, as we can see it, and we just, there is this thing that the earth or the universe just came by chance. Go? That by the geographers, go? It just happened that it just happened. It came by chance. Go? So those are the uses of probabilistic spontaneous generation. Go? There's something they call the law of spontaneous generation. Go? Go? How spontaneous? We all know that. Okay, now if we don't allow that to happen, don't say that, look, this view came by chance, man.
Out of spontaneity.
Even out of spontaneity, even this classroom that we are standing, it just came by chance. Someone will look at you and say, you are so foolish. What? How can you do that? This came by chance. Well, just came into without someone making it happen, without someone designing it. The same thing applies with the universe. The same thing applies. Definitely someone has the meaning of that. Well, that is order. Someone is such questions are the questions that we are asking in cosmology. Who is the designer? And who is the controller? Who is the owner of the universe? We all know that you and I cannot own the universe. After all, we were born by someone. Who? We were born by someone.
Nigerians can't attest to that. We cannot even hold ourselves now.
You see? So when you're asking such questions, then we're already engaging in cosmological, metaphysical cosmology. The reason why I use the word metaphysical cosmology, because normally there are a lot of scientists who have studied the universe. The telescope has already seen a lot for us. Even the astronomers, those people that have traveled across through other planets like Mars, have traveled to Mars, have traveled. I think they went to Jupiter to listen to the book. Even though that's what I went to Jupiter, I was just a machine. They sent a machine to Jupiter. This is material, or it's a physical cosmology. We understand? But however, the creation and the design and the ownership is what we ask in what metaphysical cosmology. Why is there no clash between the sun and the moon? Why do you not see clash?
Or change of service.
But this one will just say, today not you shine, I will do shine. They don't. And do we see any kind of collision between the night and day? That this part of the room, the classroom is the light, and this other part is in the day. You don't see the same kullun. Some of kullun fi falakin yasbahun. That was what God said. Each of them is on its own separate axis. Is on its own path. Well, it's going on its own orbit, so you don't see any clash. That was the Shams yanbaghi laha an tudrika al-qamar wa lil-layli sabiqu an-nahar. And you don't see the night coming to reach the day. They just have a way of facing out each other.
Yes.
If you really want to see this wonder, you come at the hour, or you see the hour of the dawn. That time, they say the darkest hour of the day is the dawn. Just a few seconds before the coming of light. Wherever you see light, because during the dawn, the sun is not there. And during the dawn, you don't see shadow. Yes, there is light. Now you begin to ask the question. The sun is not there, yet there is light. What is happening? Have you ever noticed that there's no shadow during the dawn? No? That is philosophy for you. Welcome to philosophy. So you should thank us in philosophy. Because we try to make some things that you don't normally think. Try to just be scrolling immediately after Subi time. Just keep working. Before the coming out of the sun, you notice that there is light, but you don't see your shadow there. Those are part of the wonders of God, of your Lord.
Sir, you say there's no light. So
I'm still asking to. Yes, I'm asking to. No, yes. He's already philosophizing too. He's already philosophizing too. So maybe when you find the answer, you let us know, please. So such is what we actually ask in cosmological issues. While in theology, that is how we do. I want to make sure that we finish with metaphysics today, so that when we come next week, we'll quickly finish the other areas. Because normally in metaphysics, we only try to be so meticulous and so detailed when it comes to metaphysical issues, because they are the most fundamental questions of your life. That you don't actually get to see these kind of answers on a kind of a neutral platform like this. You understand? It's so neutral in that we're not taking sides from anybody. Go? We look at it from a general perspective. It's like someone has been raising up her hand. You want to talk? Guy! Sorry, ma, please say what you want to say.
But I think with this one, it's like you touch a fringe of the answer. But let me see. I read some books, and somebody was trying to define a human being as being a tripartite being.
Tripartite.
Yes, a three in
Tripartite. Okay, tripartite.
in one thing. The soul, the body, the spirit.
Okay, just like the way he said here now.
Yes. And that, like I'm standing, if I'm moving out of this place, since I am not dead, I'm the one person here. But inside of me is, I am three: the body, the soul, and the spirit. So as I'm going out here, I'll be going out with myself, those three in me. I'm going out with it until the day that God decides to pull the spirit out of me. The soul now goes or roams about until judgment day, and the body which is sand is buried. I don't know what that man is saying. I don't know. But because of teaching us here, somebody has to
Let's ask something.
No, land, let her land, please. Wait.
Hello? Somebody asked a question and you only address animals that don't have a soul, but they have a spirit.
No, have life, not soul. They don't have soul.
As mentioned, once mentioned soul, there's no spirit. And that's why I became confused. I don't know what kind of people. I mean, they are not philosophies. And why are they I'm confused.
No, well, like I said.
Somebody else says spiritual and body. And then this is what is saying.
You know, thank you very much. Before we close the day, I will just say that the way she is trying to explain the soul, spirit, and the body, you know that this duality argument, dual nature of the man. The word said dual. All philosophers back then was talking about duality. I've never heard someone talking about tripartite, like she's saying. However, like I said, I'm not rejecting that idea of being a tripartite being, because this soul, as you can see, definitely, I'm sure the spirit and the soul, like I said, they are one thing. In my own understanding, they are one thing. They are just one thing. Because When God said that, because no one really understands us like our Maker. Oh? So whatever the Maker speaks, you don't just say, it's like that, you're only wasting your time. Because that was why even God, before the coming of this scientific issues of gynecology, God described how He created you in the womb in the Quran. He gave a detail of from day 1 up to 40 days. Go. After 40 days, what is going to do? He gives a full description of how He created you. Go. And the same God said, when He created you, He put in you from His soul. Go. And that thing coming from Him made you to be the chief of all other creations. That is why the human being is the most revered of all creations. Go? And another person said Khalifa, he called you Khalifa, you are now his vicegerent. Go? You are Lord's representative on earth. Go? You are now the ones representing Him. And by virtue of you representing Him, you have what? The highest of all beings. Even the jinns bow down to the human beings. It's only those that don't really get to know their powers that get manipulated by the jinns. I can tell you at a point in time, I used to do this exorcism. You know exorcism? Go? You know exorcism?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know that ruqya or exorcism is not a joke. It's a reality that science cannot prove. You have seen someone being possessed before. Being possessed is not for joke. I used to do that. And I encountered a lot of issues as an exorcist. Afterwards, later I stopped. Because there was too much crisis in my extended family. Because when the jinns see that they cannot actually come to you, they talk to someone that is like. Whenever they come, when they come after you, and they see that there's no access, they follow the next person close to you. They will follow the next person close to you. That's true. And that was how I stopped. One of the episodes that I want to share with you here is that at a point in time, I could recall while being a student here, that is, I think that was 2004, when I was a student here. That's 20 years back. I was coming from this Cook village, going to Saad Zungur. Along that line, there is a kind of a small path that you follow. You don't have to come through the Umar Mosque. You just follow one small corner like that. And it's so dark. It's so dark. Around, like, say, I finished reading from like the classes around 2 a.m. Around 2 a.m. And I was alone. Like as I was coming, I saw a very big donkey standing in front of me. Donkey. And I was still coming. The donkey didn't want to shift. And I wasn't ready to go back because I knew if I dared to turn back, that would be the end of me. Because I can't run away from it. So as I kept on coming, it wasn't shifting. I came very close as I'm like, I said, can you back to follow? I told myself that I was superior. That's right. And I said, no, nothing can touch me. Because I knew that, and I've also prayed all my prayers that I know that. So nobody jinn can touch me at that time. I came very close and they didn't want to shift. Imagine when I said, can you back to follow? It just disappeared. When it disappeared, immediately because I was like, if I match you, I'll go to the God. That was not a fact. You understand? And so many other things that I don't have to start mentioning them here. So many personal issues. It touch my family. And people came to advise us that, look, these people are very dangerous. You have to just take it easy. He advised our man that we actually went together with, and he told us that, look, this is the decision he has taken to, he's going to stop this. And we were like, look, that is what we are going to do. Let us all stop. And alhamdulillah, since that time, I have peace of mind. So these are realities that we cannot actually prove with science. You understand? What I'm trying to look at here is that issue of the soul. The soul, God told us that He has created it so as it becomes what makes us to be part of this creation. And is that same soul, that same soul that is going to be raised up. That will be kind of, let me say, recreated. The soul is going to come back when we are going to be raised up for judgment. On the day of judgment, there are other explanations on how we cannot see God now, which I wish I had the time. I would have explained what is actually happening and how we are going to see Him, because now we cannot see Him.
In our next class.
No, I don't want. There's no. We have already wasted too much time. When we meet in masters, we will discuss that. Now,
Next week, from 11, we are going to be free. Even 2. The person that is taking us from 11 to 1.
okay,
It's true.
it's true. 11 to 1. Okay, let's see then if we can meet.
And the 1 to 2 said we will not come next week.
Okay. Between
That's 2 to 4.
Between 2 to 4.
Let me say from 11 to 4.
You are free.
You are free.
So inshallah, I'll come earlier so that we can see what we can do. Just to do a marathon class. So you let them know I will come earlier. Even if it means maybe using the 2 double periods so that we can cover enough. Okay? So we'll see next week, inshallah. Let me see, where is your pen?
I think this one is
This one is yours.
I didn't just start.
Yeah, it's mine. So we'll see next week, inshallah. You're welcome. Maybe I'll come earlier since they said that the people that are taking you in the morning are already through. Cool? So that we can cover more. From 1 to